Welcome to the Warrior Stance, your go-to spot for fighting sports. Today we're diving into the thrilling world of boxing, covering its epic history, the do's and don'ts during a fight, some sweet moves you can try at home, and a shout out to the baddest fighters who've ever stepped foot in the ring. Alright, buckle up, because we're taking a trip back in time to the roots of boxing. It's history class, but the cool version. Picture this, ancient Greece, 688 BCE, on a sandpit. They weren't rocking gloves and fancy shorts, it was bare-knuckle brawls, butt naked, no holds barred, and it was wild. Then the Romans took over and turned it into a spectacle of gladiatorial combat in gigantic arenas called colosseums, taking pugilat, the ancient name for boxing, into a whole new level for the next centuries. Let's fast forward to the 18th century where modern boxing was born. It was the era of bare-knuckle prize fighting, where two fighters squared off until one couldn't continue. No rounds, no gloves, just pure grit. But as the 19th century rolled around, rules started to take shape, gloves became a thing, and the Queensberry rules were introduced, bringing order to the chaos. Boxing continued to evolve, becoming a staple in sports culture. The early 20th century witnessed the rise of legendary figures like Jack Johnson, the first African-American heavyweight champ, and the incomparable Rocky Marciano, who retired undefeated. And of course, who could forget the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali? His charisma, skill, and unapologetic personality transcended the sport, turning boxing into a global phenomenon. Now that we've got a handle on the history of boxing, let's step into the ring and break down the rules that keep the action fair and fierce. First up, the ring. It's not just a square with ropes, it's a battleground meticulously designed. The standard size is 20 feet by 20 feet, roughly 6 meters, surrounded by those iconic ropes that keep the action contained. And speaking of containment, let's talk rounds. Most professional bouts consist of 12 rounds, each lasting 3 minutes, with a minute rest in between. This may sound a lot, but it shows how important strategy is to ensure you have enough stamina to finish the fight. Now let's get down to the legendary Queensberry rules. Written by the Marquis of Queensberry in 1867, these rules are the bedrock of modern boxing. They outline everything from the use of gloves to the definition of a knockout. And yes, the 10-second countdown after a knockdown isn't just for suspense, it's a crucial part of these rules to decide who won the fight. As for scoring, boxing matches are based on effective aggression, ring generalship, defense, and clean, hard punches. It's not just about throwing haymakers, it's about precision and control. And remember, the judges are ringside, so no sneaky moves go unnoticed. Low blows, headbutts, and rabbit punches are definite fouls, so no punches under the belt or behind the head. Referees play a crucial role in enforcing these rules, making split-second decisions to keep the fighters safe and the match fair. And let's not forget about the 3 knockdown rule. If a fighter hits the canvas 3 times in a single round, it's a TKO, technical knockout. It's like the mercy rule of boxing, ensuring a fighter's well-being is the top priority. Alright, we've covered the history, we've got the rules locked in, now it's time to put on our virtual gloves for some basic boxing. First up, the jab. It's not just a throwaway punch, it's the baseline of your boxing. Fast, straight, and thrown from the front hand, the jab sets up your range for the rest of your arsenal. Next in our combo is the cross. A power punch delivered with the rear hand, the cross is all about generating force from the hips and shoulders. It's the knockout punch. Then we got the hooks, left and right hook. Perfect for getting around your opponent's defenses and delivering a surprise blow from the side. Let's finish with the uppercut, it's an elevator straight up to the chin. Whether you're inside or outside, it's all about timing and catching your opponent off guard. But it's not all about throwing punches, it's also about not getting hit. Footwork is your first line of defense, the dance of the boxing ring. Moving in and out, pivoting, and circling. And let's not neglect the well-known defensive maneuvers. We're talking about, first, the elusive duck. Your opponent throws a punch, and you gracefully duck under it, leaving them swinging at thin air. 2. The slick slip. Your opponent launches a punch, and with a subtle movement of the hips and torso, you elegantly slip out of harm's way, turning a potentially devastating blow into a mere breeze. And finally 3. The almighty bob and weave, this isn't just a move, it's a strategy. You're not just dodging punches, you're weaving around them, creating openings for counterattacks. Mastering these defensive moves is like having your opponent dance to your tune, making them miss while you set up your next move. Now that we've got our punches down and our footwork sorted, let's tackle a critical aspect of boxing that ensures fairness and epic showdowns: weight classes. This is the ultimate game of strategy, where fighters find their perfect match in terms of size, power, and skill. In the world of boxing, fighters are grouped into different weight classes to level the playing field and make the matchups as even as possible. We've got a range of classes, from the featherweights who bring fast speed to the heavyweights, the big hitters who can turn the fight with a single blow. Let's break it down a bit. At the lighter end, we have the flyweights, bantamweights, and featherweights. Weighting 108 to 126 pounds, 50.8 kilos to 57.1 kilos. These guys are throwing punches at the speed of light. It's all about finesse and quick reflexes. As we move up the scale, we hit the welterweights and middleweights. Weighting 140 to 160 pounds, 66.8 kilos to 72.5 kilos. Here, we find a balance of speed and power. These fighters can take a hard punch and deliver a fast one with precision. Now, the heavy hitters, the heavyweights. Above 190 pounds, 86 kilos. These are the guys you've probably heard of even if you're not a hardcore boxing fan. Think Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, and Evander Holyfield. It's not just about throwing punches, it's about the sheer force behind them. One punch can change the entire game in the heavyweight division. And let's not forget the cruiserweights and light heavyweights. Weighting 168 to 190 pounds, 79.3 kilos to 86 kilos. They're bridging the gap between the fast and furious and the heavyweight powerhouses. Weight classes ensure that fighters of similar size and abilities face off against each other, making every bout a nail-biter. It's not just about who hits the hardest, it's about strategy, skill, and the perfect blend of power and precision. So, the next time you're watching a boxing match, pay attention to the weight class. It's the secret sauce that makes every fight a unique and captivating experience. From flyweights to heavyweights, the diversity in these classes is what makes boxing the thrilling and dynamic sport that it is. Time to give some love to the legends who've left us wide-eyed and jaw-dropped. Think Muhammad Ali's swagger, Mike Tyson's ferocity. We're talking about the heavy hitters who've become household names. First up on our list of boxing immortals, Muhammad Ali. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, Ali's charisma, lightning-fast footwork, and unmatched showmanship made him not only a three-time heavyweight champion, but a global cultural phenomenon. His fights against Joe Frazier, George Foreman, and Sonny Liston are the stuff of legend. Then, let's talk about Iron Mike Tyson, the youngest heavyweight champion in history. Tyson's ferocity and explosive power in the ring were unmatched. The way he dispatched opponents in the first round was downright scary. Tyson became a pop culture icon, and his impact on the sport is still felt today. Moving on to the golden boy, Oscar de la Hoya. A six-weight world champion, de la Hoya was known for his combination of speed, power, and technical skill. His battles against Felix Trinidad and Floyd Mayweather Jr. showcased the true artistry of boxing. And speaking of Mayweather Jr., we can't discuss iconic boxers without mentioning Money Mayweather himself. Undefeated in his professional career, Mayweather's defensive prowess and ability to adapt in the ring make him one of the greatest boxers of all time. You can't deny his impact on the sport. Let's not forget the Raging Bull Jake LaMotta, whose gritty style and indomitable spirit earned him the middleweight crown. His life story became the basis for the classic film of the same name, highlighting the highs and lows of a boxing legend. And of course, we can't overlook the incomparable Sugar Ray Robinson. Pound for pound, many consider him the greatest boxer of all time. Robinson's fluidity, speed, and devastating combinations made him a force to be reckoned with, leaving an indelible mark on the sport. These are just a few snapshots from the extensive gallery of boxing legends. Each of these fighters brought something unique to the ring, transcending the sport and captivating audiences worldwide. Their stories, rivalries, and moments of brilliance continue to inspire generations of fighters and fans alike. As we wrap up this journey into the world of boxing, keep these legends in mind and appreciate the artistry and heart that they've brought to the world of boxing. We've covered the history, rules, basic moves, weight classes, and gave a nod to the warriors who've defined the sport. If you're buzzing from this adrenaline-packed journey, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for more fighting sports goodness. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Warrior Stance. Until next time.